Hello, beautiful people. Hello. Today, I want to dive a little more into the specific areas in life that we are sometimes out of alignment. And the area I want to focus on today is the world of work, right? That area of work, right? For those of us who are working and we've had these careers and we are just tired, right? Like, maybe you're the person that on Sunday evening you're emotionally or mentally drained because you're already thinking about you got to go into this job on Monday that you really don't want to go into. Or maybe you're that person that Monday comes and from that point you're just counting down to Friday. Or maybe you are that person that works from home and merely walking from your bedroom until your workspace, walking from your bedroom to your workspace has you drained and you don't even need to leave the house, right? So if you're that person that you're thinking, I hate my job, right? Or I don't want to be doing this anymore. I want you to just slow down for a minute because maybe you do hate your job, but maybe you don't. Maybe what you're really feeling is something a little more specific. Maybe you've just checked out, or maybe you're burnt out, or maybe the work looks fine on paper, but it just no longer fits, right? Who you're becoming. Or maybe you already know deep down inside, you're ready for something else. You're ready for something different, but you don't know what that next step is supposed to be. And those are all totally different things. And so instead of thinking of it as I hate my job, right? Or I don't want to be here anymore, maybe we need to just really think about what's really going on. So today I want to walk through 4 ways that this shows up for people, right? And as you listen, just pay attention to which one most sounds like you. So in the HR world, we sometimes refer to people as the silent quitter, right? This is the person or woman, right, or man who is still showing up, but emotionally they're disconnected, right? So you're doing the work, you're answering the emails, you're attending the meetings, you're doing what needs to be done, right? But inside, you're not really invested anymore. You're just going through the motions. You may not be announcing it to anyone. You may not even be fully admitting it to yourself yet, but you can feel that the spark is gone. The care is fading. You no longer care about the job. Your motivation is low. You're present, you're showing up, but you're not connected, right? And so that feeling can be a little confusing because you may still be functioning well and you may still be doing a good job. And people may not even notice that anything has changed, right? That anything is off. But you know because you're not investing anymore. So if that sounds familiar, don't be ashamed, right? I just want you to get curious about whether or not you are silently quitting, right? Because silent quitting in this context is often not about being lazy. It is often a sign that something about the work, the environment, or the season you're in no longer feels aligned, right? The next one is the burned out achiever, right? So this second one, right? This second one is the woman or man who is capable, dependable, but tired. You're tired. And not a regular tired. I'm talking about the kind of tired where another weekend, another day off, or another vacation does not fully touch what you're carrying, the weight that you're carrying. You may be the person people rely on all the time, the one who figures it out, the one who keeps going, right? You are the one who says, I've got it. I could do more, right? Even when you really don't have it and you really don't want to do more. And because you can handle a lot, people assume that you're fine, right? But being capable does not mean you are not exhausted. So for the burnout achiever, the issue is not always that the career is wrong. Sometimes the issue is the pace, the pressure, the expectations, right? Or the amount you've been carrying without enough support, without even letting anyone know that you need support, right? That's a burned out achiever. And if this is you, I want you to hear this clearly. You do not have to wait until you completely fall apart before you completely burn out to admit that something needs to change. And then we have the misaligned professional. So this one right here, this third one, this is the woman or man whose career may look fine from the outside. The job is stable. The title may make sense. The paycheck is helpful, right? The work is not really terrible. You're able to do it, but something still feels off. And this one can be really hard to explain because it's not always overly dramatic, right? You're not in crisis mode. You don't have a terrible boss, or you may not have a terrible boss. You may not have one obvious reason that you want to leave, but there is something that's quietly disconnecting between what you do every day and who you are becoming. So the job, the work no longer fits you. And you might find yourself thinking, I should be more grateful. I should be thankful. This is what I worked for, so why doesn't it feel better? Trust me, I have been in this mode, right? Why am I not more excited about this? Why do I feel like I'm outgrowing something I'm supposed to want, right? That is why this one really matters, because misalignment is quiet. It is often quiet. It does not announce itself loudly. Sometimes it just shows up as being restless, being resentful. Your motivation becomes low. So it could be a feeling that you're living a version of success that just no longer feels like yours anymore, right? And then number 4, the career pivoter. This is the woman or man who knows she's ready for something different, right? She or he is ready for something different, but she needs clarity before she moves, right? So you may already be exploring, you may be already be looking at the job boards, you may be looking at job postings, right? You may be updating your resume, you may be researching different career paths and opportunities. You're thinking about going back to school, starting something new, changing industries, or finally just admitting that you want something more. But there are still questions that you have to ask. What do you actually want? What makes sense for you in this season of your life? What if I choose wrong? What if I start over and still feel unclear? What is the next step that does not require me to blow up my whole life, right? So there's all of these questions you have to ask yourself. If this is you, you're not stuck because you're not capable, right? It's not because you're not capable. You just may need structure. You just may need space to kind of sort through the ideas that you've been carrying around in your head, that have been floating around in your head. You may need to put pen to paper. And you may need to separate what sounds good from what is actually aligned with your strengths, your values, and life. So when you say, I hate my job or I'm tired of this job, I want you to ask yourself a more honest question. I want you to ask, what do I mean by that? Do I mean I'm checked out? Do I mean I'm exhausted? Do I mean this no longer fits? Do I mean I'm ready for something new, but I need direction? Because each of those answers, the answers to those questions, will lead you to a different next step, right? So the silent quitter may need to reconnect with what she has stopped saying out loud, right? The burned out achiever may need to look at what success is costing her, all right? So you may be successful, but it may be costing you your peace and your happiness. The misaligned professional may need to name what no longer fits in this career you're in. And the career pivoter may need to organize her ideas into one intentional next step. And that is why clarity matters. Not so you can judge yourself, not so you can rush, not so you can make a dramatic decision just to get relief, but so you can stop treating every career discomfort like it means the same thing, because it's not the same thing. And so before you decide what to do next, ask yourself, which one sounded most like me? Am I quietly checked out? Am I burned out from carrying too much? Am I in a position or career that looks fine but no longer aligns with who I am, my values, etc.? Or am I ready to pivot but I'm unsure of where to begin? Just be honest with yourself. Not harsh, but honest. There's a difference, right? And so, if you want help naming what may be happening for you, I created a free quiz. It's called, Are You Ready for a Career Change? It will help you identify which of these patterns sound most like your current season. After you take it, you will receive a free Career Clarity Workbook, so you can keep reflecting at your own pace and start sorting through your next step with more intention. The link is in the description. And remember, you do not have to have your whole career figured out today, but you do deserve to understand, and you need to understand, what your discomfort is trying to tell you. So start there. Start with honesty. Start with clarity. Start with one intentional next step. Start with taking the Career Clarity Quiz. And I'll see you in the next video.